of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Roll call. Mrs. Gould.
Mrs. Gould, roll call.
Oh, I'm here. Mr. Thompson.
I'm here.
Mr. Cabrera.
I'm here. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, the notice requirements have been satisfied as to the time, place, and date of holding said meeting by posting notice on the bulletin board in Borough Hall and by mailing and emailing the same to the Herald of Cape May County, the Press of Atlantic City, on October 28, 2020. In the event there is an emergency, the way out is through the door that you came in or through the door to my immediate right. A couple quick announcements. This meeting is being shown live on YouTube, and also there is a dial-in conference line as well. That number, in the event anybody who is at home or is not able to participate here in person today, you're going to dial the number 888-363-4734. And then when you're prompted, you're going to enter access code 9699020. And for some reason, if you're not able to ask a question here today, you're always welcome to send an email to our clerk, and that email address is clerk@wildwoodcrest.org, or you may also call 609-729-8040. I neglected to mention it's also being shown live on Facebook. Okay, we have a large audience here today, I'm assuming, for our promotional swearing in today. I'd like to, at this time, turn it over to Commissioner of Public Safety, David Thompson.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to welcome everybody here. Good day for Wildwood Crest and our police department. And with that, we will get started. Chief Lloyd, if you would join me up here. I'd like to welcome everybody here. Good day for Wildwood Crest and our police department.
Somebody that's on the conference line, if you could mute out, please, we can hear the feedback. Thank you.
Good evening. I'd like to thank everybody for coming for this ceremony, for this promotional ceremony, and also swearing in ceremony for one of our new officers. This is a good night for the Wildwood Crest Police Department and also for the Borough of Wildwood Crest and its visitors. We are conducting this ceremony for 2 administrators, a supervisor, and we are swearing in a new police officer into our ranks and into this WCPD family. This would not be possible without the support of Mayor Don Cabrera, Commissioner Joyce Gould, Administrator Connie Mann, and Commissioner of Public Safety Dave Thompson. I want to thank you for your understanding and embracing the vision of this and direction of this police department. Captain D'Amico, I have had the pleasure of working with the captain very closely throughout our careers. We worked many times together on patrol squads as officers and supervised Squad 4 as sergeant and corporal together. Captain D'Amico has been a detective, corporal, patrol sergeant, patrol lieutenant, administrative lieutenant, and he is also an instructor with the Cape May County Police Academy in chemical agents and emergency vehicle operations. In the last year, this department has faced challenges that we have never faced before and never thought we would face. Captain D'Amico has been right there next to me, helping me lead this department through these challenges. He is a great leader and a dedicated professional. We have many more challenges on the horizon, and I am honored to have Captain D'Amico as my second in command. Lieutenant Holt. Lieutenant Holt and I went to the police academy together what seems like forever ago. Lieutenant Holt spent time as a detective, a patrol sergeant, administrative sergeant, and she is an instructor with the Cape May County Police Academy in methods of instruction, domestic violence, and firearms. Lieutenant Holt managed this police department's initial accreditation and most recently managed our reaccreditation in 2019. The accreditation process is labor-intensive and requires extraordinary organizational skills. Lieutenant Holt has already put some of these skills to work, and I am happy to have her as part of my administrative staff. Sergeant Sheets. I remember when Sergeant Sheets started as a Class 1 police officer directly out of high school. I later had the pleasure of being his sergeant when he identified countless counterfeit inspection stickers and helped cease the production and distribution of these stickers that many in our community had fallen victim to. Sergeant Sheets is the department's range master and is an instructor with the Cape May County Police Academy in chemical agents and firearms. I am proud of Sergeant Sheets and excited to see how he helps train and mold some of our new officers. Police Officer Ryan Tassone. Officer Tassone just recently graduated from the Cape May County Police Academy. Prior to starting his career in law enforcement, he enlisted in the United States Army in 2008 and was active duty in the 13B Cannon as a 13B Cannon crew member until 2012. He re-enlisted as a member of the Army Reserves from 2012 to 2016. During his time in the United States Army, he spent time overseas as an infantryman. I am confident he will be an asset to this police department and glad to have him aboard. Officer Tassone, I thank you for your service to this country and congratulate you and your family and welcome you to our WCPD family. And to the rest of the families, Captain D'Amico's family, Lieutenant Holt's family, Sergeant Sheets' family, congratulations to all of you. Congratulations, Captain D'Amico, Lieutenant Holt, Sergeant Sheets. I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of the police department. And without further ado.
Thank you, Chief. I would just like to say before we start that Chief Lloyd took over and kind of got a little baptism by fire with the arrival of President Trump immediately after he took office, and then the COVID. It's been a very hectic year. He has more than done the job. This entire police department, I'm very proud of them. We have a fine police department. Everything is running smoothly. And I'd like to congratulate the chief and all those responsible. So tonight's promotions are made possible through the retirement of our previous chief, Joe Mcbride. We wish him well in his retirement. That being said, we will get started. I don't want to hold you up. So if Rick D'Amico, if you'll come forward. His family will come hold the Bible for him. You can come up. Come on this side. Familiar with this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I state your name.
I, Richard D'Amico, Jr.,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of the office of Captain of Police
all of the duties of the office of Captain of Police
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability,
And I do solemnly swear
and I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and I will bear true faith and allegiance
and I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Is that it all?
Yeah.
Congratulations, Captain D'Amico.
First, I'd like to thank everybody that's here tonight, members of my family, the police department, members of the community, and members of the borough. I'd especially like to thank the members of the governing body, Mayor Barrie, Commissioner Gould, certainly Commissioner Thompson, for placing their faith and trust in me. Really appreciate that, and I will not let you guys down. I'd also like to thank Chief Lloyd for all of his support. I certainly look forward to working with him as we guide this department into the future. It is a tremendous department full of the best officers, and I'm very proud to be a member of this agency. The more you climb up a ladder, the clearer you can see things. And one thing that is apparent to me is that this day is not an individual effort. It's the culmination of work of a lot of people to get me here today. When you're working on a ladder, and Dave, you can attest to this, the higher up you go, you really want to have it on a firm foundation. And my foundation was strengthened first and foremost by my parents, my mom and dad who are here tonight. They certainly gave me all the attributes to be a very good police officer, more importantly, hopefully, a good man. I certainly get my patience from my mom, my drive and my motivation from my dad, so you guys can thank him for that. That foundation was strengthened when I joined this police department family, and I have worked with some of the best police officers throughout my career, and I've certainly taken a little bit from each and every one of you that have helped me get to here today. I can't thank them enough for all the guidance that they've given me throughout the years, those that I've worked with and supervisors that I've worked under. They've certainly helped mold me to where I am. But having that firm foundation, you still need somebody there to foot the ladder, somebody to support you. And I get that each and every day from my family. My brothers and sister and brother-in-laws and sister-in-laws, but most importantly, from my wife and my children. And I work hard every day, hopefully to make you guys proud and set a good example. And I appreciate all the stuff that you guys are going through. It's never easy, certainly being children of police officers, but you guys have always been there to support me and love me. And my wife is certainly my rock and foundation that allows me to do the things that I get to do every single day in this job that I love. And this is a dream every day. This is what I always wanted to do. So, I'm blessed to get to do this. So thank everybody. I certainly appreciate all the support, especially from our retired members and members of the law enforcement community, Borough, our community. I mean, this is the best place to work. I can't say that enough. So thank you very much.
Congratulations. That will bring us to Denise Holt. I state your name.
I, Denise Holt,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties
all the duties
of the office of Lieutenant of Police
of the office of Lieutenant of Police
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
and I do solemnly swear
and I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the government established in the United States
and to the government established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations, Lieutenant.
Thank you, thank you. Here, you want to hold them for me? Thank you, sweetie. Thank you, guys. The captain is a tough act to follow. I want to thank the community. I definitely want to thank the governing body for helping me along the way here, and especially Chief Lloyd for giving me the opportunity to be a part of this administration. I look forward to finishing out my career working with the best officers around and just making us a better department so that we can be better for our community. I absolutely adore working here. So thank you all very much.
Okay, next we have Ryan Sheets.
She doesn't want to go.
No, she changed her mind. She's pulling back. No, she'll come back.
Thank you.
Okay, I state your name.
I, Ryan Sheets,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties
all the duties
of the office of Sergeant of Police
of the office of Sergeant of Police
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
and I do solemnly swear
and I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. I can honestly say I've never seen a shy officer. Congratulations, Sergeant. Okay, that will bring us to Ryan Tassone. Is somebody here with you to hold the Bible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You wanna hold that? No, hold it up for you. Hold it up. I state your name.
I, Ryan Tassone,
Do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
justly perform
all the duties
all the duties
of the office of police officer
of the office of police officer
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
and I do solemnly swear
and I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. Welcome aboard.
Sure.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ryan Tassone. I look forward to working with everybody, and thank you for welcoming me into the family over here. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Dave?
I would like to welcome Ryan into the family here. He has a great police department. Give him support. This department is in very good order right now, so I do appreciate that, and congratulations to the entire department.
Dave? Pictures?
They get pictures over there.
Yeah. It's on the other side there.
Get them all to come over.
Yep. Yep. You want to have them come up here? They can be behind it? Okay. Okay. You want to have the other guys down there come up?
We'll do, can we do one with just the four of us and then we'll bring our screens?
Sure.
I want a piece of cake tomorrow.
Do them first, Islam. No, we're good.
Thank you.
Wait, one more.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, boy, now the whole department's coming. Now the whole department's coming.
Yeah.
That's all. Sweet. Everybody over there.
Okay.
Chief?
So as we promote
Chief?
and hire new, we also have some retirements to celebrate as well.
Don, tell them it's only going to take a few more minutes. They don't have to leave.
Yeah, if everybody could just sit tight for 1 sec. We got a couple retirements. We want everyone to stay put if you can. We're going to start off with the police department. Go ahead, Commissioner.
Okay. If Lieutenant Becker could come up and join us up front? Lieutenant Becker is a recent retiree from the Borough. We want to thank him for his service. We want to honor him on his retirement, wish him the best, and I'm going to read a short bio for you on his service. The Borough of Wildwood Crest and Wildwood Crest Police Department would like to congratulate Lieutenant Ronald E. Becker, Jr. on his retirement after 25 years of service to this community. Lieutenant Becker began his career in 1994 as a SLEO 2 officer with the Borough of Wildwood Crest. In 1996, he graduated from the 193rd Municipal Law Enforcement class at the New Jersey State Police Academy in Seagirt. He then began his full-time career with the Borough of Wildwood Crest. Lieutenant Becker served in both the patrol and detective divisions during his career. While in detectives, he completed an FBI investigator school. During his time in patrol, Lieutenant Becker served as a patrolman and corporal until he promoted to sergeant in 2015. He remained sergeant in charge of Squad 3 until 2019, when he was promoted to lieutenant and oversaw the patrol division. Lieutenant Becker also served as the defensive tactics instructor for the Cape May County Police Academy and was also part of the Cape May County Critical Incident Response Team. He served as the DARE and lead officer for the Wildwood Crest Police Department from 1997 until 2019 and was a school resource officer from 2011 until his retirement. Lieutenant Becker helped to strengthen the bonds between the police department and the school and was critical in the implementation of new safety protocols and initiatives at Crest Memorial School. Born and raised in Wildwood Crest, he was always a big part of this town and knew it was important to connect with the public and to provide as much community policing services as he could. He now will spend time with his loving family, including his wife and 3 daughters. We wish Lieutenant Becker the best retirement possible. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
We have a retirement jacket for Lieutenant Becker. I'm sure he's going to need more to fill his closet, so there you go.
I'll keep it brief. 2 months ago when I retired, my last day, I kind of said everything I had to say, but just today, thank you to the mayor, commissioners, chief, congratulations, captain, lieutenant, and the new officer at Thompson, and all the members of the police department. You guys are my family. I love you all. My parents are here. Thanks, Mom and Dad, and my wife, Gina. Thank you all for everything. It's been great.
Okay, so we have 2 retirees in the Public Works Department. One is here with us tonight, and one is unable to be with us tonight. Charlie Mcbride, where are you? There he is. Come on up. So this is the man for 20 years that he's worked with the Public Works Department that has kept your streets clean. He's the one that's keeping the brushes real close to the curb and going around it when nobody would park on the other side of the street or where they weren't supposed to, so you had to go around your car. Charlie was the one that did all that. And Charlie, I'm sure you're enduring your retirement to this point, but your department managers gave me a little write-up on it, and I'm going to read it to you. So some of it might be funny, maybe some of it not so funny. I don't know. We'll see. All right, Charles Mcbride, AKR, Char. He served 20 years within the Public Works Department, primarily running the street sweeper. Working with the Borough of Wildwood Crest was his second career. He initially retired from the Philadelphia shipyard with over 20 years of service. So you had 2 jobs and you served over 20 years at both of them. That's pretty impressive. That's very impressive. 25 at the Navy Yard. Wow. He was hired initially as a driver with his CDL certifications. He drove the sanitation trucks, front end loader, and all heavy equipment. Char spent most of the winter prepping and painting the metal trash cans to be placed on the beach for the summer. And it's always those small little things that go unrecognized, but here's the man that keeps it looking beautiful. He had an amazing work and service record. He needed little direction as he knew what needed to be completed each day. He's able to discuss politics. I don't know if we want to talk about that, but politics, religion, popular TV shows, and current events while listening with a keen interest. And this is the most impressive part. He's known for making homemade hot sauce. I am a hot sauce connoisseur, and bringing in the best kielbasa. I used to eat that. About 2 weeks ago, I stopped because I saw my waist going big. Charlie, congratulations. Round of applause for Charlie Mcbride, everybody.
I'd just like to thank Don, Joyce, Dave, and Joe Bond, Steve Shear. It's been a pleasure working here. I love this job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Will everybody leave? Yeah, I got one more to read off. Okay. McNeil?
And thanks everyone for being patient. I just have one last retiree Charlie McNeil, AKA Big Mac. Again, he was not able to be with us here this evening. He served 13 years within the Public Works Sanitation Department. Working with the borough was also his second career. He initially retired from the hospital industry as an aide with over 20 years of service. He's known as a very quiet man. He let his actions and work ethic speak for him. Never had to worry if an assignment was complete when he was involved. He had an impeccable work and service record. He was the only known employee to achieve the service bonus, which is 3+ additional days of pay at the end of the year because he didn't take any time off, for not using one sick day over 365 days. That's very impressive. He earned this award more than once. He likes to go fishing. He's a basketball fanatic and has the NBA network package. Most people don't know that he and 2 sons have won 2 New Jersey basketball championships. And he's a die-hard Cincinnati Red fan. Thank you, Charlie. I believe he's in Georgia, so hopefully you're watching here live. On behalf of the Borough of Wildwood Crest, we'd like to thank you for your service. Don't be a stranger. You know where to find us. Thank you. Okay, we're going to take a 3-minute recess so everyone can clear the room. You're more than welcome to stay. We have an agenda full of normal business items we're going to attend to. You're welcome to stay. You're welcome to leave. It's up to you. Thank you. All right. Check, 1, 2. Can you hear me, Nick? Better? All right.
Can you hear me now? Can you shut that door? Oh, okay.
Okay, I think we're ready to proceed with the rest of the meeting. Madam Clerk, I believe we have 2 ordinances.
Yes, sir. The first is ordinance number can you hear me? 1345.
Maybe we can shut that back. Is that back door closed?
It comes through the top.
Oh, okay.
It's all right. We can do it.
We have ordinance 1345, a bond ordinance.
I move that ordinance 1345 be placed on second reading and final passage by title only.
I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded that ordinance number 1345 be placed on second and final reading by title only.
Roll call. Mrs. Gould.
No.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Ordinance number 1345 reads as follows. A bond ordinance providing for the improvement of the municipal building located at 6301 Ocean Avenue in and by the Borough of Wildwood Crest in the County of Cape May, New Jersey, appropriating $1,600,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $570,000 bonds or notes of the borough for financing such appropriation.
I move that public hearing now be held on ordinance number 1345.
I'll second the motion. It has been moved and seconded that a public hearing on ordinance number 1345 now be held.
Roll call. Mrs. Gould.
No.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes. Floor is open for public comments on ordinance number 1345.
That door as well. Thanks.
Comments on ordinance number 1345 going once, going twice. Commissioner, may I entertain a motion to close the public session?
I move the public hearing on ordinance number 1345 now be closed.
I'll second it. It has been moved and seconded that the public hearing on ordinance number 1345 now be closed.
Roll call. Mrs. Gould.
No.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
I move that ordinance number 1345 be passed on second and final reading and advertised according to law.
I'll second it. It has been moved and seconded that ordinance number 1345 be passed on second and final reading and advertised according to law.
Roll call. Mrs. Gould.
No.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next, we have ordinance number 1346, and it reads as follows. An ordinance to establish Cap Bank for calendar year 2021 pursuant to NJSA 40A:4-45.14.
I move that ordinance 1346 be passed on first reading, advertised according to law, be brought up for second and final reading and public hearing on March 17th, 2021 at 9:30 a.m.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that ordinance number 1346 be passed on first reading, advertised according to law, be brought up for second and final reading and public hearing on March 17th, 2021 at 9:30 a.m.
Roll call. Mrs. Gould.
Yes.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Okay, next we have the resolutions, and the first is authorizing introduction of local budget of the Borough of Wildwood Crest, County of Cape May, New Jersey, for the fiscal year 2021.
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mrs. Gould.
Yes.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is accepting work performed for the fiscal year 2019 NJDCA Small Cities Program, Joseph Von Savage Pool Restroom ADA Improvements Contract.
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mrs. Gould.
Yes.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is canceling erroneous 2021 sewer rents in the amount of $124 for property located at 7201 Seaview Avenue.
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mrs. Gould.
Yes.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is canceling erroneous 2021 sewer rents in the amount of $190 for property located at 5900 New Jersey Avenue.
So moved.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mrs. Gould.
Yes.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is canceling erroneous 2021 sewer rents in the amount of $124 for property located at 407 East Miami Avenue.
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mrs. Gould.
Yes.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing release of escrow funds for permit SO 19-1206 in the amount of $457.50.
So moved.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mrs. Gould.
Yes.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing release of escrow funds for permit SO 19-1105 in the amount of $547.50.
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mrs. Gould.
Yes.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing submission of a grant application to the New Jersey Division of Highway Traffic Safety Mobilization 2021 Distracted Driving Crackdown Grant.
So moved.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mrs. Gould.
Yes.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing a shared services agreement between the Borough of Wildwood Crest and the City of Wildwood, Wildwood Water Utility, for water main and lateral installation Beech Avenue in Wildwood Crest.
So moved.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mrs. Gould.
Yes.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing award of contract for the reconstruction of Beech Avenue, fiscal year 2020, Njdot municipal aid, and the reconstruction of Stanton Road, fiscal year 2021, Njdot municipal aid.
So moved.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mrs. Gould.
Yes.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
Next is authorizing a shared services agreement with the County of Cape May to provide EMT services to assist the county at the vaccination sites.
So moved.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mrs. Gould.
Yes.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
And we are tabling the next resolution, and that leads us to the last one, authorizing advertisement of notice to bidders for ADA Access Beach Access Improvements, Phase 1.
So moved.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Roll call. Mrs. Gould.
Yes.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
I move that all bills properly authorized as submitted be paid.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that all bills properly authorized as submitted be paid. Roll call. Mrs. Gould.
Yes.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
I move that all reports received from the court administrator, chief financial officer, tax collector, chief of police, supervisor for the recreation department, construction official, emergency services coordinator for the EMS and the Wildwood Crest Volunteer Fire Company chief for the month ending January 31, 2021 be accepted as presented.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that all reports received from the court administrator, chief financial officer, tax collector, chief of police, supervisor for the recreation department, construction official, emergency services coordinator for the EMS, and the Wildwood Crest Volunteer Fire Company chief for the month ending January 31st, 2021 be accepted as presented. Roll call. Mrs. Gould.
Yes.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes.
I move that all minutes from the regularly scheduled commission meetings dated January 27, 2021, and February 10, 2021, as well as the closed session minutes from July 22, 2020, and November 5, 2020, be approved as presented.
Second?
It has been moved and seconded that all minutes from the regularly scheduled commission meetings dated January 27th, 2021, and February 10th, 2021, as well as the closed session minutes from July 22nd, 2020, and November 5th, 2020, be approved as presented. Roll call. Mrs. Gould.
Yes.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. Cabrera.
Yes. Okay, we're going to switch up this next one. We're going to go with the engineer's report. I believe our engineer is on the line. Mr. de Blasio, are you on the call?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me, Mayor?
I can hear you. I'm going to put the conference line up as high as I can and put my microphone over top so that everybody can hear you. All right, go ahead.
Okay, I'll speak as loudly as I can. Thank you. So we have one update relative to grant applications. That is, the borough is submitting a grant application to the USDA Rural Development Program to replace the sanitary sewer on New Jersey Avenue and Syracuse Avenue. That program typically will fund or provide a grant up to 20 to 35% of a project. So in our case, that could equate to anywhere from $600,000 to $1 million, which is pretty substantial. So we are working with Triad Associates to make that happen. Moving along to capital projects, we have a lot of updates here. First one is the permit for the borough's Njdot CAFRA improvements phase 2 should hopefully be issued within the next 2 weeks. That ties into the Beech public access improvements phase 1, which I'll speak about in a minute. The Sunrise Park Playground and Splash Park installations are substantially complete. The Splash Park color coding, landscaping, and fencing will be completed in the spring of this year. Next, the contractor for the Pacific Avenue and Barrie Street End improvement contract is progressing very well. All of the utility work on Pacific Avenue will be completed next week. I believe they are down to about 4 sewer laterals and 2 water services, so we will be done and cleared out of there so that the county can come behind us to finish the project. The contractor will also be starting work on Washington Avenue the week of February 22nd. They were supposed to have started 2 weeks ago, but lost time due to the snow and rain. Bearing any unforeseen problems, that road will be completed by summer season this year. Also, the final paving of Hollywood Avenue is scheduled for the spring of this year, and that's still on track. And last item as it relates to that contract, the contractor has completed the sanitary sewer replacement on Ocean Avenue. They will have all the concrete work completed by this Friday, which is currently underway, and the final paving is scheduled for spring 2021. So bottom line with that contract, all of the work that was in the contract and change ordered in will be completed for summer season. Next item is the Higbee Field Little League Improvements Phase 1. That project is currently in design in the permitting phase and will be completed on an emergency basis. Construction is tentatively scheduled to start the week of March 15th. Next item, the reconstruction of Beech Avenue and Stanton Road was awarded at tonight's meeting. This project is being funded with a $340,000 grant from the DOT and is scheduled to start work in March on Stanton Road. So this work will start on Stanton Road in March. It will conclude sometime in early June. Contractor will be mobilized for the summer, come back in the fall to complete the remainder of the contract. Next item, that's the playground installation component for Scoop Taylor Park improvements is scheduled to be completed before this year's summer season. That would be what I would call like the first phase of improvements, with the second phase being in the fall, which would consist of new gazebo, landscaping, and decorative retaining walls. Lastly, the Beech Street End Public Access Improvement Phase 1 project is scheduled to be publicly advertised for bid on March 8th, and the bid opening is March 24th. Construction is scheduled from April to June of this year, with an impasse for the summer, with construction to resume in the fall. Again, this is all contingent upon receiving the CAFRA permit that I mentioned earlier in the report. The proposed improvements for this project include proper ADA access to the beach through the street end, extended public platforms on the beach, foot wash stations, decorative hand railing, and benches. And that is my report.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, sir. Public, any questions for our engineer on the engineering report? Hearing none, governing body, do you have any questions for our engineer?
Not at this time.
Not this time. Mr. de Blasio, you're welcome to go. I know you're with your family. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you.
Okay, that brings us to our administrator's report.
to our county. We understand everyone's frustration with the pace of vaccinations. County officials are hopeful that the state will allocate more doses, double what we're getting now, in the very near future, which will allow for an additional vaccination site to be named. And that'll happen on a weekly basis, and we are expecting that in the very near future. With all that said, believe it or not, Cape County leads the state in vaccinations provided to its residents per capita. So our county is doing an excellent job of getting as many vaccination doses into arms as humanly possible at this time. For those who are having difficulty getting scheduled for an appointment in Cape County, there is a mega site in Atlantic City. It's at the Atlantic City Convention Center. It's managed by Atlantic Care, and most people are finding it easier to get an appointment there because it's a mega site and they have more doses. I can provide anyone interested in their website information and also some instructions on how to register with Atlantic County and also with the state of New Jersey, because you have to do both. Everyone should be reminded that no matter where you go, you have to be on the New Jersey site, New Jersey State Registry. You have to go on and schedule that. I can also help with that if anyone needs help. Certainly those right now that are eligible are welcome to get vaccinated. Those are healthcare workers, police and firefighters, anyone over the age of 65, anyone 16 to 64 with chronic health conditions, and they're specifically citing cancer, chronic kidney disease, COPD, Down syndrome, heart conditions, obesity, sickle cell, and type 2 diabetes, as well as smokers, and smokers is used in a general term. So again, if anyone needs help registering with either of the sites, or with the New Jersey site or Atlantic Care, I'm happy to do so. Please see me and I'll make arrangements to meet with you. 2021 DCA Small Cities Grant Application. Our DCA Small Cities Grant Application for up to $4,000 for 2021 fiscal year was submitted. We applied to provide funding for the ADA accessible street end improvements at various beach accesses. We also applied to the Cape County Open Spaces Board to fund during their special funding round to fund a majority of that project. The presentation to the board is now scheduled for sometime in March. These bump outs will be modeled after the new ADA accessible street end at Rambler Road and will include showers, trash receptacles, bike racks, beach mat extensions, and possibly drinking fountains. Tonight we authorized the bidding of the first phase of this project, and awarded the contract would be contingent upon the CAFRA ID permit that Mark spoke about, which we do expect in approximately 2 weeks. Ongoing projects, Mark talked about Pacific Avenue. The Scoop Taylor ADA improvement project is now coming together with the purchase of playgrounding equipment that will be authorized at our March meeting, which is March 17th. The shelter is in queue and plans are being solidified for that. That has a long lead time, so we'll be ordering that shortly. This project is mostly funded by the 2020 Small Cities ADA grant and will be under construction, we're hoping, within a couple of weeks. It is expected that this project will be phased with the ultimate completion simultaneous to Sunrise Park. It's now projected that that will happen. That will be more likely fall when we do the gazebo installation as well as landscaping. The replacement and improvement of Lily Field, Mark touched on that, so we have been in constant contact with our insurer, which is Zurich, and we now have come to a tentative agreement with them to start construction. We're continuing to work with Njdot and the United States Army Corps on their Hereford Inlet to the Cape Inlet project. We have submitted our comments on the necessary state aid agreement, and finally, we are awaiting their final comments back and that final document. We don't really have an anticipated date on that. There are 2 other towns involved in negotiations. A PDF will be available on our website as soon as we are able to release it, and that will be for the public's view. We have continued to meet and work with Cape County's engineer and professionals on design elements and improvements to the New Jersey Avenue project that we keep speaking about, and another stakeholder meeting will be planned this spring so we can provide everyone with more information. We're hoping that that will occur then. Finally, beach boxes, an additional 46 boxes for a total of 96 rentals were made available to the public on a first-come, first-served basis last Friday. Much to our surprise, we sold out in less than 5 minutes. Demand far outweighed last year's demand, which was surprising, and we have contacted DECCOR, who manufactures our boxes, that is the Department of Corrections, and hope to have more boxes to be able to offer before Memorial Day. Currently, the prison me that they will be able to produce. But we are working very hard. We do know that the price will be slightly higher to the borough as we have escalating lumber prices at this time. So the Recreation Department and I will keep everyone posted as to the outcome of that board's decision on if and when they can deliver more boxes. That's all.
Thank you. Constance, governing body, any questions for our administrator?
None. Thank you, Connie.
Public, any questions for our administrator? Anybody on the call have any questions for our administrator? Okay, that wraps up our administrator's report and our engineer's report. Correspondence, just a brief update on that. We received some information and a request to participate in a webinar with respect to the legalization of marijuana and how that may affect our local community. That video and that presentation was made available online today, so we have not had a chance to look at that, but we can certainly do that and have a report on that at a future meeting. Okay, that brings us to our first round of public comments. Anybody have a public comment they would like to make? Anybody on the call have a public comment they would like to make? If you do, please give your name and your address for the record.
Hi, Don. Darlene Kaplan.
Hi, Darlene.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Good. I apologize for bringing this up at a late time in the meeting, but there's a lag between the phone and the computer, so I missed the opportunity to speak about the old library.
Okay.
Now, have you decided to go ahead with this, with the funding and the grants that we have, the grant opportunities that the borough has to utilize? Where do you stand with this at this time?
So our first ordinance that we had on second reading was approved this evening. So the funding is in place, and I just, so that just as a reminder, the work on that building, so we received an insurance settlement, I'm going to say about 2 years ago. There was a DCA grant that was split between the pool and the old library to make the bathrooms ADA accessible. Part of the project is new mechanicals, which would be partially funded also by direct install. And then the rest, we had canceled some old bond appropriations dating back to 2010. Specifically, bond ordinance number 1110, 111443, 1147, 1149, 1156, 1158, 1174, 1179, 1184, 1186, 1198, 1211, 1219, and 1234 for the total of $1.335 million. And that money was put in the surplus with an earmarked for this, which the taxpayers have already paid for. So the project is paid for from dating back to 2010.
Very good. Very good. I just wanted to make sure, and again, I apologize because of the computer lag with the cell phone live conference. But thank you. I believe it's going to work out well. When I campaigned 3.5 years ago, we had people from every level of age to just everybody wanting to volunteer for children's programs. Elderly wanted to talk about history of when they grew up here in Wildwood Crest. So I just think it's a wonderful thing. It's going to be a great use for the town and very minimal cost to the town with these grants. And I really appreciate you guys taking the initiative and moving forward with all of this.
Great. Thank you. Anybody else on? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And if I may, I didn't come publicly to the meeting only because I have a terrible cold and I didn't feel prepared to expose anybody to it. But I just want to congratulate all the police officers on their promotions. They were wonderful when I worked with them, and they were great kids. Now they're grown men and women, and I'm very proud of them. And Charlie McNeil and Charlie Mcbride, congratulations to those guys too. They're all assets, and we were all very lucky to have them. So congratulations to everybody. And Ronnie Becker, congratulations, and I wish him all the best.
Thank you.
You guys have a great night.
You too. Anybody else? Public comments? Hearing none, we're going to move on to the discussion items. Commissioner Thompson, you want to speak about the ordinance or Chief Lloyd?
Yes, we, Parking is obviously the biggest problem we have in town. There's constant complaints, a lot of calls for the police department for illegally parked cars. Our parking requirement, I believe, is 18 feet for a parking spot. What that does is that leaves a number of spots around town in the 12, 14 foot range that could be utilized by golf carts. As you've noticed, the last few years, we're getting more and more golf carts. So I reached out to Ralph Grassi and to Chief Lloyd about checking to see how many spots would be available in that range where we could designate those for golf carts and or motorcycle parking only. That being said, that would allow golf carts to move out of a full-size spot and into a spot for golf cart only. We came up, I believe we're at about 15 spots currently that we'll be introducing for ordinance to allow for the golf carts. I do know some people with golf carts, they're kind of excited about it because they will seek those spots out, and that'll keep a golf cart out of a full-size spot. They will be metered spots, so it will be additional revenue. The revenue is not really the impetus behind this ordinance as much as it is to get some more parking. As you know, we're trying to get parking anywhere we possibly can. That I think suits the need. So that being said, Chief Lloyd, if you have a comment.
We have 16 spots that we identified as spots to be utilized for the parking for the golf carts.
Okay.
Okay. So if everybody's okay with moving forward on that, I would ask you guys to work with Solicitor Galzonis and put together a draft. I know there was some discussion internally on it, but maybe we can wrap that up and circulate it. And Madam Clerk, next meeting agenda, we could get it introduced.
Yes, sir.
Ready for the summer. Okay. Under old business, I don't believe there's anything to report. We talked about the Little League field and Commissioner Gould, anything? I know we're getting a lot of requests on the old street signs plan.
No, nothing yet.
Nothing yet. You'll make an announcement when time's ready. All right. Last round of public comments. We'll start with those folks here in the room. Last round for public comments. Please give your name and address for the record.
I can't hear.
It's not on, is it? Right, that's what we just mentioned. We're going to, Mr. Bazil and I are going to get together to go over them and decide price-wise and how we're going to sell them, how they're going to be sold. We haven't gotten that far yet because it's awfully cold to get into that building yet, but we'll be doing it within the next couple of weeks, hopefully before the next meeting.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Anybody in the call have any public comments? I'll give a couple seconds. I know someone said there was a delay. Public comments going once. Public comments going twice. Okay, I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in
Motion by
favor?
Commissioner Gould, second by Commissioner Thompson. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
See everybody on St. Patrick's Day.